Alright, how's it going everybody? Scummy Legion back here again with another coaching video. And this one we have a Ghostface on Thompson's house. This is going to be a tough one. Farm maps are usually very, very difficult for Ghostface. Stalking is nigh impossible. Okay. We only got 2 perks on Ghosty, so fairly low level Ghosty, but Sloppy Butcher and Thrilling Tremors is not bad. You could definitely make a good amount happen with that. Okay, went for a little bit of the mind game. She was waiting at the pallet though and she could see you, so mind game like that just isn't going to actually work out. You can sometimes catch people off guard if they kind of second guess themselves, if they're going to like run through and then they decide, no, I actually want to drive the pallet. You can get people with that. Good little moonwalk. Cut her off. Alright. That's a decent down. It's pretty fast. That dude was late on the flashlight. You got that free hit. Good on ya. Alright, so now you know whereabouts somebody is and where at least one, maybe the other two are, because of the red generator far over by the killer shack. Okay, good attempt with the mind game. This is definitely one of those ones that you can mind game. It's a lot easier if you turn off your terror radius and your red stain. Ooh, she's gonna make it back there now. I think she dead-hearted the first hit. Yeah, she's not really running anywhere. Okay, breaking the pallet. During chases with Ghostface, it's okay to turn off your... That was a very good hit. It's okay to turn off your terror radius. And your red stain, because if they decide to look back and watch you, they don't see what's in front of them, and it takes about 1.5 seconds for them to break you out, so that little bit of time could screw up their looping or their pathing. You still end up getting a few pallets down, so not too terrible. Let's see. What are your add-ons? It looks like for either stalking movement speed or crouch speed. I think one of those is crouch speed, the other one is stalking movement speed. So not great add-ons, not useless, but still. Alright, so you could potentially get a grab here. They ran away actually. Yeah, like I said, that corn vision will usually mess you up. It's always good to double check, just in case there was someone else here. Now right now you want to be very proactive. You know where she ran to. She ran into the corn. You know that 2 people are over by the hook, so you know where 3 people are. Or you have an idea of where 3 people are. The last person, now you hear up here. So what you want to do is, in the future, you want to either go for the 3, which you potentially get multiple hits and get more people off gens, or if you can sneak up on this person, you can potentially get a gen grab. Okay, you're gonna go for the stalk. I like it. She doesn't really have anywhere to run up here. There you go. Yeah, up here they have nowhere to run, so stalking them is not a bad idea if you can't guarantee the gen grab, and gen grabs are kind of hit or miss on if they're going to be successful or not, because they only really have 2 ways of watching, and it's pretty easy to kind of center your camera and get a little bit of both. So now you're going over here, you hear it's almost done, but you got a terror radius, so they're going to know. You have no pallets here though, so that's definitely a plus. Going for the Steve, that's smart. Let the Nia just do her thing. Yeah, you missed. You gotta head back. Good. It looks like you're struggling a bit with 360s. They can be annoying if you don't know how to follow them. It depends on how fast they do them, because some people do them really slowly, like me, but they work out because you can fake out which side you're going. Like, you can start at 360 one way and switch to the other way. And some people do them really fast, like this Nia, and it looked like the Steve kind of did it pretty fast. When it comes to that, there's two ways to counter that. You can either stand still when you get right next to them and just check to see if they're going to 360. Okay. Should have taken the shortcut there just because she blocked herself off and you would have guaranteed the hit. But you should still get her right here. She's going to slow vault that. Dead hard? Okay, so she did have dead hard. But the other way that you can counter it, if you don't want to stand still, is look which way they're turning and literally just whip your mouse around as you're swinging. The sway hitbox and the striking hitbox are very, very open. Like, you can get a wider range than what it looks like. The range, or the hitbox is smaller for Ghostface only because of your weapon kind of doing a stabbing motion, not as much of a swiping motion. It is still a swipe motion, and it has a slightly smaller hitbox. It's really, like, the units that it is smaller is almost unnoticeable. But with like Legion or Trapper, like they swing their weapon. Spirit's another example. So you can swing it, and you have like a couple extra units. It's really not going to make the hugest of difference, but it's something to keep in mind that you can actually swing around and you'll catch them most of the time. There are going to be some times where you swing and you miss. It happens from time to time. I mean, I don't hit every person that 360s me. Some do get away with it. But it's just good to keep practicing. Like, watch which way they're about to turn, and then as they're turning that way, swing with them. They're doing very, very well on chance. Even though you had that early down, they were just sitting. Maps like this, it's kind of hard for Ghostface to put out a lot of pressure. You also obviously are lacking in perks, so you don't really have much for finding people or for really slowing the game down. You have something to slow down heals, and you have a perk that slows down the gen slightly. So you got some slowdown, but it's really not that good of slowdown. I mean, throwing tremors is great, but you just don't have it tiered up to where it's up more often, which is going to be the downside of it. And it only works when you down people. Sloppy Butcher is also great for slowing the game down, but it only slows down the healing, and survivors don't really need to heal. If you're like me, when I want to get out of a game fast, or if I want to do like a Gen Rush kind of build, I actually run Resilience. So if I am injured, I can just stay injured. Especially if I have Dead Hard, I can just stay injured and it doesn't matter. Okay, so Adrenaline pops, and they're going to get out. I mean, whether you play Ghostface for stalking or you play him for, you know, the Nurse's Calling kind of build, or this kind of style like he's doing right here, like walking around just stabbing people, getting injures, and then trying to capitalize on those or catch them off guard when they're healing. Either way, it's a hard play style. Stalking is definitely the hardest one because you waste a bit of time, and if they break you out, you waste even more time. So you got a good idea to sit at the doors. They're kind of close, which is good, but there's all 4 survivors, so they're going to get out. There's not too much you can do. Trees are also really fucking difficult for getting out. Leaning is always best. Leaning gets, it only takes 2.5 seconds to actually stalk someone fully when leaning, whereas it takes 5 seconds to stalk them fully when just stalking them off not leaning. Good hit, good hit. Dodging the flashlights. You know, it'd be interesting if Thrilling Tremors worked on gates. Like, if all the exit gates, or if all the generators are done, now when you pick someone up, it blocks the exit gates for a little bit. And it, like, would give you a little highlight on those. Okay, just opening the gate for him. Corn maps are always going to be a weakness for a lot of killers, Ghostface especially. there's just not much you can really do. Your stalking doesn't really work. They're somewhat bigger maps. Some of them are, at least. So it's very hard to kind of put out a lot of pressure. And because of the corn, people can blend in if they have the right outfits on, or if they're playing the right characters like Blendette. So, all in all, I mean, this game, you can put a few different variables into it as to what went wrong. First of all, you're a rank 9 going up against rank 1, 4, 4, and 2, so I don't know why the fuck you're even against a team like this. You have odd bulbs, you got Commodious with wire spool and socket swivels, D-strike, 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 locker build, and then there's the resilience with Dead Hard. Like I said, this is a great combo for survivors. There's a breakout, borrowed time, iron will, there was a spine chill. So this one is just simply you were outclassed. There's nothing you can do about that. These were just better players overall. But a few key things. Also, you're low on perks, which obviously you can win without perks. That's fine. But perks do start to matter when it comes to a team like this that are extremely optimal. As far as stuff you could have done better, there was right at the beginning when you got the hit, you went for a little bit of a mind game here, and this is just not going to work. They can see straight through this. This is never going to work for you on a mind game. Now, if they were standing here and you were coming past the hay bales, this can work. The reason why is because you walk past the hay bales and hide yourself for that split second. They're like, oh, maybe they're going around, and then you just back up and swing through. And if you do it fast enough, you can catch people off guard a lot. It works a lot more than it really should. Other than that, you were getting some info when you picked them up of where they might be. And you see right here, there's somebody over here. At least one person, and the, who was it? Was it a Nancy or was it a, oh, it was a Nia. So then the Nia, you had her hooked, you hooked the Nancy. The Nia ran over here. Yeah, the Nia ran this way towards this gen. These gens are not being worked on, so there's no point going this way. This gen isn't highlighted. That's the advantage of throwing tremors. It's like a discount barbecue and chili in some ways. So right here, you can clearly see somebody's over here. At least one person. At least one. Nia could head that way and maybe loop back to over here towards the jungle gym. So 1, 2 people. But there is Killer Shack here, so she most likely might run there, because with Dead Hard, Killer Shack becomes really easy to run. So 1 to 2 people here. At best, 3. There could be up to 3 people here. So whenever you use throwing tremors, after you get the hook, it's always best to look around, or while you're going to the hook, if you got one near you, you can kind of take a quick little spin around and see what gens are red. And whichever ones are red, hook the person, walk into, if you're on a corn map, walk into the corn. When you're out of sight of the hooked person, pop your power and start getting over there. If it's somewhere that they might be in your terror radius after you hook them, like right away, and you can't pop your power, you might want to go for it, but you might want to step away and kind of like zoom around by this jungle gym to really hide yourself and then come around. Ghostface is all about positioning. That's the hardest thing about Ghostface, is you have to position well, because it's like Wraith. Wraith you can see coming if you're a vigilant survivor and you're going to look around for a Wraith constantly. Ghostface, he gets the most out of people that don't notice him, i.e. the stalk gets better, of course, and you can get way closer. And if you get closer, think of it like a monitor and abuse for like a 24 meter killer, terror radius killer. Monitor and abuse for those kind of killers are insane because they can get so close to you. Ghostface just doesn't have a terror radius, and so when you get that chance to walk just right, and you can path yourself so they don't even see a glimpse of you for till maybe, I don't know, 10 meters, you've already basically won the chase. The only thing that can really save them at that point is Sprint Burst, which is ran quite often, but even if they are running Sprint Burst, you might actually get an early pallet, which is very important, and especially over by Killer Shack. If you went this way, there's possibly a pallet on the tree and then Killer Shack pallet. There's 2 pallets there. One's a god pallet, of course, and the other one is a semi-safe pallet. It depends on how it spawns. I didn't get to see the tiles, so I don't know how it spawned. You can take advantage of that. you can definitely get one of those pallets, maybe even both if you play it right. It takes time. Ghostface is definitely not an easy killer. His playstyle sounds very easy. Oh, pop my power, walk up, stab, and find him later with nurses, or, you know, like just walk around and then chase him and pop my power when I need to at loops. It's kind of that way, but you do need to take advantage of the fact that they can't see you. It's like Pig, except only you're not crouched. And Pig is slower when crouched, just like Ghostface, but you get the advantage of you can stand and you don't have to press anything to attack. You just need to attack right away, and you can use that right out of power. Pig needs to stand up. Wraith needs to come out of cloak. Pig can also roar and do the ambush attack. They all have something that they have to do before they can attack, but they are stealth killers. Myers can attack out of stealth, but he has almost no lunge range. He's very slow, and it's better to just stalk him. But the moment you stalk him, they know. Whereas with the Ghostface, if you stalk him, try to 99 him, get right behind him, or if they're just about to break you out, then you finish it. Because if they're looking behind them the whole time, and you just finish it, and now they're like, oh shit, I'm at exposed now, he's gonna get me, and then they freak out. It does cause survivors, even good ones, to panic, because they can't see when they're 99. It's like a Myers. They don't know when you're 99. They just don't. So those are really the only tips I can give you. It is a hard map, and it was just, you know, you don't got much perks, you don't got much for add-ons, and it was a full team of red ranks that just bullied you. Not bullied, but they were very, very optimal, and they're several ranks above you. So I wouldn't dwell too much on this bad game. I have games too, similar to this, where I just get outclassed by other red rank survivors. I take them as learning experiences. It is annoying. I get that some people get really frustrated at that. Like, oh, I should be versus, you know, green ranks, purple ranks, like, you know, whatever ranks you're in. But in the end, if you look back on your gameplay, or if you have someone like me look back on your gameplay and you see the mistakes, the next time you view this, like whether you view it yourself or the next time you play, you'll notice the mistakes and you'll notice how to correct them. I can only give you somewhat guidelines, but you yourself are going to know how to correct them and know what you need to do. I just tell you what to look for, and maybe the smaller detailed bits and mechanics into the game that you may not know. But I also don't expect many people to know a lot of the mechanics in the game, only because not everybody puts in as many hours as I put into this game. Not everybody puts in, you know, several, like, hundreds of hours, or like I'm already at past 1,000 hours on the game. Nobody puts that kind of time into the game usually, and if they do, then the differences are very minute. So I mean, it is frustrating, but as long as you understand it's a learning experience and it's something that you can't control. You can't control shitty matchmaking right now. You really can't. And I'm hoping with the new rank system, even though it seems kind of dodgy, maybe it can work out to help out killers. This way, when you have low level killers like Ghostface, who maybe you don't play as much, there you can play against like what would be the considered of rank 20s. So yeah, the games might be easier for what you know, but at least it gives you time to work on learning the killer. You can sit there and practice stalk mechanics, practice the mind games. You were doing pretty well practicing the mind games for crouching, and it wasn't bad. The issue is you still had your red stain on. It works out somewhat, but when you have your red stain on, it doesn't work as well. You have to kind of moonwalk and hide your red glow at the same time. So when you were there, instead of crouching down at the end and then backing up, what you want to do is when you're walking through the pallet, you wanted to crouch, turn around, and back up all the way across it. It's small things like that, but it's going to take time and practice to get it down. So, you know, it's just about matter of time. Ghostface, definitely a fun killer, but also a very, very hard killer. Anything else I really need to point out? I don't think so. I think the rest of it is pretty self-explanatory, or, you know, makes sense. Yeah, that was dead hard there. I think it's right actually here. Yeah, okay. Okay, so Neo did end up going here. So then, like, see, you're right here, and you crouch and you go down. You still have your red stain though. So what would have been better is when you enter through this, like instead of walking straight like this, because they can barely see you, instead you crouch down, you turn around and you back up all the way. Because then once you get out to about here, you stand up and it's too late. Now if she's sitting here waiting at this end, she either has to run out or she has to run back and you'll catch her on the loop. So I think that's really it. Just wanted to kind of give a more visual representation of that. Cause see, you kept crouching and doing this one, but like if you did that, yeah, like this, that's how you caught her. You did it fine there, but if you would have done that initially when you went past that pallet, the first time you entered this loop, you would have ended the chase a lot sooner. It's small things like that that make a big difference, and especially against red ranks, it makes a huge difference. So just keep those in mind. Keep practicing. You're doing good, and if anybody else wants me to do any more coaching videos on you guys, let me know. You can send just about any killer. If there's some mechanics to them that I don't know, I will probably take a little bit to release that video because I may look up the mechanics myself or see secondhand like minute things that I want to point out to you guys, so I can actually give you guys proper advice. I don't want to give you guys any false advice or any advice that I wouldn't be 100% confident in giving out. But either way, thank you for joining me once again. Thank you for joining the Legion. If you like what I do and like what I put out, please hit that like button, hit subscribe. It really does help me out. I'd love to make this a career, and I'd love to do more videos and whatnot. But I'm a new channel, and I'm a ways away. I do appreciate everybody's support up to this point, and I will continue making content, of course, anytime. But for all the you new people that maybe see me and check out my stuff and like it, please hit the subscribe button. Yeah, have a wonderful day though.